In this video, I'm going to go over Week 6 quiz on APA citations. So APA stands for American Psychological Association. We cite sources when we use statistics, numbers, historical, medical, scientific knowledge, or any kind of uncommon knowledge. We give credit to the researcher who did the research. If we do not give credit to the researcher, we are committing plagiarism. In-text citations occur within the body of the text. Reference citations occur at the end of a text. We also cite numbers, this should have an S there, numbers, statistics, percentages, historical, numerical, scientific, legal, and uncommon knowledge. Anytime you see a number, date, or amount, you cite the source. So here, it's all of these are incorrect because here you're missing. Okay, Smith, 2022, page 22. That's known as an in-text citation. Okay, and it's also missing this. Quotation marks at the beginning and quotation marks at the end. So then it becomes correct. So I'll take away the X here. Watch. It's like magic, right? Whoa! Now suddenly it's correct. So whenever we have any kind of percentages or numbers, so you put in beginning quotation mark and ending quotation mark, then you put in the date, the author's name, date, and page number. So according to Miller, dogs are the best pets ever. So it's missing everything. Dogs love to learn tricks. Dogs can be taught to sit, heel, and come on demand. 350 million people live in the United States. 9 billion people live on this earth. In 1492, Christopher Columbus discovered America. Symptoms of the common flu include coughing, fever, body aches. That should be body aches. Include body aches, coughing, and fever. So that all of these are missing their author, date, and page number. So all of these require an in-text citation because here you have a bunch of numbers, you have a historical fact, and you have a medical fact. In other words, common symptoms of the flu. That's a medical fact. So these are all incorrect. These in-text citations are all incorrect because they lack author, date, and page number. An in-text citation includes the author's date and year of publication. If the citation references a specific part of the resource, you should also include a locator, a page number, or a paragraph number. So that's why when I put in the author, year of publication, and then here you have the locator. Or if you don't have a page number, let's say you're on a website, paragraph number 5. That's known as a locator. In other words, where in the book, okay, where on the page is your in-text citation? It's on the 5th paragraph, or it's on page 22. So that's the locator. It locates your source. So in-text cite especially direct quotes, okay, when you cite something verbatim, includes the author name, publication year, and a locator. In other words, the page number. As soon as you add an author, date, and page number to direct quotes, an author and date to your paraphrase quotes, then you are no longer committing plagiarism. In real life, if you do not properly use APA, you can be sued by the creator for plagiarism. Correct APA. Here's a correct APA in-text citation. According to Dr. Smith, 67% of Americans die of gun violence. Then you put in here, Dr. Smith is already listed, so you already know the person, the author. Then you have the date, then the page number. So when we cite a source, we always need the author, the date, and the page number. Here's another correct source. Here's another correct in-text, APA in-text citation. According to Miller, 2021, dogs can be trained to follow commands. They are able to sit, stay, heel, and come upon the owner's command. And then you put in the beginning quotation mark here before dogs, and then ending quotation mark after the word command. And then you put in page 146. Why do I only have the page? Because here Miller is the author, 2021 is the date, and then you have the page number. So that is a correct APA in-text citation. Another way of writing it is that you would write dogs, you have to have your quotation, beginning quotation mark, and you have to have your period, and then another quotation mark. That's known as a direct quote, and then you have Miller, 2021, paragraph 3. Now, if I write, so this is the direct quote. In other words, I said it directly from the article, okay? Now, if I want to write that's known as a direct quote. So if I write a paraphrase quote, that means I'm putting it in my own words. So you would say that my pet, which is a dog, is smart and can learn tricks when I take it for a walk. So here you have a paraphrase, and then you would have Miller and then page number. And so here you would have, not page number, date. So Miller and 2022. Now the only thing wrong is I use my and I would have to say many people's pets, many people who have dogs. So if I want to put it in third person case, that I'll correct afterwards. But what's important is that you set it in your own words, and then you still have to put in the author and the date, but you don't need quotation marks for a paraphrase quote. So even if you put it in your own words, you have to cite the source. So here you have more on a direct quote. If we do not include the author, date, or page number, the reader will think you just made that up off the top of your head. So in a direct quote, you need quotation marks, author, date, and page number. And in a direct quote, you state word per word the author. In a paraphrase quote, no quotations and no page number. You just put the author and the date. And so here you have more examples of a direct quote and a paraphrase quote. Is this a correct quote? No. Yes, this is correct because the in-text citation includes an author, date, and page number. And since this is a direct quote, it also needs quotation marks. That makes it completely correct. Is this a correct quote? Dogs love to take a walk. No, because it's missing. If it's a paraphrase quote, then it's missing. Dogs love to take a walk. So if it's a paraphrase quote, it's Smith, 2022. And then if it's a direct quote, then you put it like that with quotation marks. So this is not a correct quote because it's missing the author, date, or the author, date, and page number. Is this a correct quote? In 1962, Mary Smith was born in New York City. You have a historical fact. No, this is not a correct quote because there is no author, date, and page number. In 1962, Mary Smith was born in New York City. Now it's correct because you have quotation marks and you have the author, the date, and the page number. Is this a correct quote? The COVID-19 vaccine has many side effects such as coughing and fever. CDC.org 2022. Yes, this is a correct quote because it has the website name and the date. If there is no author, notice how I just said cdc.org and I didn't put in an author name. If there is no author name, use the website name. And if there's no date, put an n.d. I don't know if I put that down. So I might already say that down there, but let's put it here. So if there is no date, then you put in ND. Okay, so if there's no date, you would write in Smith ND. That's it. That's how you do it. So, is this a correct quote? The COVID-19 vaccine has many side effects, such as coughing and fever. No, that's not correct because where is the author, date, and page number? So that's not correct. Then you have different ways to cite an in-text citation. You could have, according to Dr. Smith, 2022, over 50% of Americans are overweight, page 22. Or you can say, Dr. Smith states, over, then you have your quotation, over 50% of Americans are overweight. Then you have your date and page number. Or you could have over 50% of Americans are overweight. And then you have your quotation marks. You have your date, your author, the date, and the page number. Then at the end of your paper, you will have a list of all your references. And you should list all of your references at the end of your paper. And these are known as reference citations, okay? So when you list your reference citations, you have to list this in alphabetical order. What is wrong with, there's a mistake here. Does P come before J? No. So this is actually a mistake. Let me fix this while I'm doing it. Okay, so I will cut and paste, and I will make it an alphabetical order because J comes before P. So here, even though it's Smith and Smith, then I could, if both of them have the same last name, and you could go by the second name. So here you would have Adams, Jack, for instance, and then you have the rest of it. So A, S, S, or if I have Bolin, Jane, Sam, or something like that. So when you have your references, you've got to have it in alphabetical order. A, B, S, S. In other words, in the same order as the author name. So if you are citing a video reference, you should notate the time of the video with the timestamp. Always include the timestamp when citing a video reference. When you need to highlight a specific moment in a video or audio source, use a timestamp in your APA in-text citation. Just include the timestamp from the start of the part you're citing. For example, it's a TED Talk, 2020, 1 minute and 59 seconds. If the citation does not have a date, you can notate it with ND. If a reference does not have a date, notate it with ND. So here's an example, Smith, ND. And so that's an example of no date. If there are two authors, you notate the authors with this. This is known as an ampersand. So here you would say Smith. So if I wanted to say Abrams, Johns, ampersand, and Smith, Patrick, 2022, Fat Americans, cdc.org, retrieved March 17th from the web address. If your reference has 3 or more authors, you notate it with ETAL. This is similar to etc., etc. Okay, in other words, more. It means more to come. So here you have, it's a Latin for more to come, and in French, ET means and. So it's Latin. Okay, so then you would write the author's name, author name 1, author name 2. Then et al. Means that there's more than 3 authors. So you would have Abrams, John, Miller, Mike, Smith, Patrick, et al. Means more authors. And you have 2022, and then you put the authors and you list them in alphabetical order, A, M, S. Okay, and then retrieved John, and that's it for your week 6 quiz on APA citations. If you have any more questions about how to do APA, feel free to email me anytime.